Here were the projections from last season going into the season. Of course, this team finished 5-7. They were projected by us to go 6-6. My prediction was 7-5. I saw some things I liked with this team in the preseason. Zach Calzada, thought he was going to be the starting quarterback. He never even played. The FBI, 7.4 and 4.7. They were pretty high on Auburn. Had them closer to 8-4 than 6-6. Vegas probably made a lot of money, though, because they had the over-under at 5.5. And I think most people thought this team was probably a 6-6 team, maybe 7-5. 5-7 obviously was a pretty big disappointment. Even though as bad as this team was last season, think about how close they were. Had a big lead against LSU, kind of blew it late, and went to overtime against Mississippi State. So this team could have been 7-5. Of course, you can flip that around. Look at the Missouri game. They could have lost that game, so they could have been 4-8. But yeah, a disappointing season for them. Projecting ahead, we are projecting Auburn to be improved. I think Hugh Freeze and the transfer portal, looking at all that, you would expect this Auburn team to be improved, but I don't think they really should jump way up here in these projections. Kind of on a fairly even playing field with Mississippi State, Arkansas there in the SEC West. So again, here's the schedule. This is the scale that we'll be using for the projections. If it stays in the white, that's a 50-50 game, a game that could go either way, a game where the spread will be less than a touchdown. Less than 20 over 80, those are games where I think the spread will be 20 or more. 20-29, 71-80, those are games where I think the spread will be double digits, 10-19 points. 30-39, 61-70, those are games where I think the spread will be about a touchdown, 6, 7, 8 points, kind of in that range. So we'll start with the easy wins. You got 3 of them: UMass, Samford, New Mexico State. Although New Mexico State did beat Hugh Freeze at Liberty last season, but just the talent level of these two rosters, it's not really comparable. Auburn should be able to take care of business. You look at Western Kentucky last year. That was a game, pretty good group of 5 team, and as bad as Auburn was, they still dominated just because of the talent level. It's an SEC talent team. And so, yeah, I think the spread will be really big in all these games. Samford and UMass probably close to 99%. If we're talking about percentages, New Mexico State maybe closer to 90%, but still definitely over that 80%. So 3 easy wins there for Auburn. And again, this is a schedule that is a little bit easier this year. You've got Cal and Vanderbilt. I think those are games that Auburn will be favored, but not by a ton. The Cal game, I think, could almost be in the blue if it was at home, but going out west against a team that has not been good the last couple of years. Still, I think because of the fact that it's on the road, I don't think Auburn will be a double-digit favorite in that game. Maybe 8 or 9 points, not quite the 10. But yeah, I think that's a game that they'll be favored in, and I think they'll be favored against Vanderbilt as well. I know Vanderbilt came on strong last year, but just looking at the rosters, Auburn has a much better roster overall. That game is on the road, but still, I think Auburn will be favored by 7 or 8 points in that one as well. So those are your 5 games where I think the Tigers will be favored. Well, let's flip this around now. Games where they'll be underdogs. I think Georgia and LSU, those are games where they're going to be double-digit underdogs. Clearly underdogs in both of those games. Georgia is what Georgia is right now. LSU on the road, very tough place to play. This is potentially a top 5 team next year. And so, yeah, I think Auburn will be probably 14 to 17 point underdogs in both of these games. And again, that's saying that that's going with the fact that I do believe Auburn will be improved, but not enough to really, I think, have a chance in those 2 games. And then, Alabama could possibly be in that category, but I'm going to put them in the yellow along with Texas A&M just because it's the Iron Bowl. It's at Jordan-Hare. Crazy things happen. I don't know if Alabama's going to be favored by double digits in that game. Maybe it's closer to 8 or 9. And, I'm talking about Auburn, and I think they'll be improved. I think Texas A&M will also be improved, another team that was a disappointment last year. And I think they'll be improved. I think they've got more talent. They're playing at home. That's why I've got this one in the yellow. So I do think Texas A&M will be favored by, 6 or 7 points in that game. And then that leaves Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Arkansas. Ole Miss, Mississippi State at home, that gives Auburn a real chance. Arkansas is a team with some question marks, especially on defense. So, yeah, I think Auburn has a chance in these 3 games. Based off of last year, I'd probably say that they'll be underdogs in these 3 games. But by the time we get to this point in the season, who knows? It's not hard to imagine Auburn being favored against Ole Miss and Mississippi State because they play at home. But, yeah, these games are very close, games that could go either way. These are your 50-50 games. And so what does the projection look like? Well, we take the wins here: UMass, Samford, New Mexico State, we count those as wins. Georgia and LSU, count those as losses. Texas A&M and Alabama, we count that at 35%. Vandy and Cal at 65%. Games in white at 50%. And what do you get? You get a projection of 7-5 for Auburn. So an improved record next season for them. Remember, the projection was just 6-6 last year. Schedule is a little bit easier this year with Cal in the non-conference instead of Penn State, and then getting Vanderbilt out of the East. That helps as well. The projection actually was 6.5 and 5.5, so 6.5 was the exact number. We round that up to 7-5. But yeah, they were very close to 6-6. So if you want to say 6-6 or 7-5, again, it was right there in the middle. But an improved season, again, mostly because the schedule is a little bit easier, and I do think this team will be better as well. But the projection for Auburn in 2023, again, is 7-5.